Hello, everybody. How you guys all doing?
Hey everyone.
Ah,
Before a long weekend.
it is indeed. He is having a bit of technical difficulties with the microphone, but we can still clearly hear her because, well, it's Deana. So she can talk through anything. How you guys all doing? So it's been a very busy past 7 days for both Deana and myself. In fact, most of everything we're going to be covering tonight is just things we're actually physically involved in regards to being present to. So there has been a couple other things that we know that have occurred. We just haven't had the chance to really focus too much on it. We have been obviously tweeting and everything else in regards to it, but we haven't had too much focus in regards to comment on it. That said, obviously we're starting off right away, and so the first thing you want to always do is take a look if you can, if you want to join us in the Ottawa Activism Discord. I actually now have the link available at all times in my link tree. If you're following me on Twitter or on Facebook or on any of the other places, I have my link tree listed in there. Jump on in. Make sure to join us in there so that we can keep you guys updated in regards to activity going on in around, and as well as see if we can help organize groups to come out. On top of that, every Friday nights, which happens to be tomorrow night now, so even less time, is our spaces at 9 p.m. Obviously, tomorrow night is going to be a bit of a special one since it's going to be the Easter one, so some people will be there, some people will not be there, but we'll be there. We'll be there to help now, to talk to everybody. Hopefully get some more people in there. That's it for the general starts. And being the bad production guy, forgot to disable that after the first start. That's on me. So I know I'm tired before we get even started into everything that we got in there. I don't know how you're feeling, Deana, because holy Christ.
I mean, it's not only that we're doing like the traveling and stuff like that, and it was really busy. It's the storm after it, like the trolls and just the excitement of whatever. So yeah, I don't know. There's just so many messages. So many messages. Not just like I'm talking DMs, like to catch up on all the DMs and stuff. It's insane.
Yes.
So I've been going to bed at like 1:30 in the morning every morning, and then still making it to work the next day. So it's been. I can't wait for this weekend. There
is a tweet I sent out. I should have put this in there because this could have been a good start, which is, as it was a kind of short synopsis of pretty much Deana and myself. And usually after one of these shows, we'll talk and chat, not only as to everything went through there. As soon as we're done with the show, we'll talk a bit of like what was good, what not, what we want to sort of look into. And we're both like, yeah, we're tired. We just want to go to bed. And that's it.
Yeah.
And, it's like, yeah, we're going to bed at 11:30. Then 12:30, we're just still liking each other's tweets, and we're still tweeting. We're like, what the fuck is wrong with us? Like, this is just.
Joe totally knows I'm awake still because I'm the one who's like, hey, I'm definitely going to bed right now. He's like, yeah.
Such a fucking liar.
Yeah.
And I say that with love because, yeah, I'm doing the same thing too. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna lie down. I'm just gonna check a message or two. An hour later, yeah, just one more. Yeah, an hour later. Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah, well, 2 nights ago, I thought it was like 10:45, and I look at the time, and it's 1:15, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's dumb.
It is absolutely insane. So, as we're going to get started into it, so we're going to start with the first main event, which was kind of the lead up to everything else. And I know there was some more stuff that actually happened before Saturday, but you know what? Who cares? More than just who cares, it was the national shutdown event from Jason LeFace. Jason LeFace, Jason Goulet.
LeFace, la blah blah blah. La farce, la flat tire.
The goof, I believe I've heard from 1 or 2 people. There is a collection. So there is a large variety of things. And we're going to start off with before sort of the main things activities started off. So it started off at a very strong rainy day. I had planned out to go there myself, and as I noticed that there was rain, and I wasn't going to show up till after the rain because
Yeah.
I had that choice. Others were there, including Jason LeFace himself and Jane Sharf, and they decided to make a whole serious issue about the fact that they lost the permit. So therefore, they decided to go to the hill and show them retribution by bringing them. You know what? We'll watch the clip. Exactly. Thanks to Mary McCheese for this particular video. Saved me a bit of time.
That's Jason LeFace. He's applied for a permit to protest on Parliament Hill over here. They said he couldn't bring any sound equipment. So he's got a notice of liability and he's going to serve them. And they've said, oh, you can't serve us with anything. We won't accept that. Well, too bad, so sad. He knows what to do. So we're going to go now.
We'll go challenge PPS right now by bringing the sound system up. And if they refuse us, I'm going to serve them with it. And we're going to bring them to court.
Oh, yeah.
Can somebody come and help Jason with the speaker?
No, he's got it on. I got it.
Oh, okay. Come on, everybody. Come on. Come on. Come and support Jason. Come on, guys. Come on. Come and help Jason.
Our rights to do that. So I'm asking you right now, will you let us allow to exercise our right for free speech under the Bill of Rights and Constitution?
Because he has a permit.
I have I had a permit and it was rescinded. It was rescinded by the Prime Minister, which was an overstep by government. So it hinders our free speech, it violates our Bill of Rights, and this is a federal place. So the Bill of Rights is exercised here. So I'm asking, will you allow us on the Hill with this powered speaker so we can present our speakers and be able to?
Unfortunately not.
Okay, so I will serve you with this notice of liability because we will be taking you to court, and because you violated our rights.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier today, like we won't be taking it. I can give you the.
No, it's fine. We'll put it on the ground.
Well, there you go. You've been served.
You've been served. You've been served. It's a legal document.
Yeah, you have to take
Like I said, I can give you the card, like where our headquarters
we're not
are,
taking
and
I don't
where you
take
can.
anything from you, sir.
It's okay. Okay.
No, you gotta take it.
Then you have it.
Silence our by
Like
doing
I
that,
explained
right?
this morning to you, said, we had an understanding.
Yeah. I just doing the
that-
process,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. And I completely understand that. I appreciate you doing your spiel. We won't be accepting it physically, like I said, right? Those are the things that we
Yeah,
were
but
told.
you're served, so.
You're served.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate that. So like I said,
You'll be sued on a personal level. I hope you're aware of that.
Yeah, each and every one.
like I said,
You
guys,
guys-
I'm going to keep this conversation just maybe one way here. Okay, I can't
But you
divide
guys
my
realize
time.
you guys are going to be individually sued,
Yeah.
and that's
And I'll be wearing your uniform by next year. We'll go
And who are these officers?
Like I said, though, we're not going to
What's
just
your
to go
name?
back and forth. We said no to the speakers.
Yeah, that's fine.
I appreciate it.
All right, so we'll bring the speaker back and abide by their things.
That's Jason LeFace.
I have to give an extra thank you to Mary McCheese. I don't know if he's listening in, but the extra fail horn at the end was just extra.
We do this and they film it and they actually think that they look like heroes or like gotcha moment, and we're all just like, what are you fucking doing? What is happening here? This is clown world.
It is, and it's kind of the annoying part of this, because I mean, this is obviously all based on what they like to do, which is sovereign citizen things. But I mean, this particular thing at the end there, I'm looking at this, I'm like, you guys just think the legal system is a game of tag. Like, if I touch you, you're it. Like, are you kidding me?
Walks back and he's just like, I mean, technically, they threw something at the cop. It'd be hilarious if the cop assumed it was something else and was just like, boom. Like, you throwing this shit at me? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it would be interesting. I mean, it's PPS,
at
so
the beginning was like, oh, and the cops were like, oh, no, we can't take it. That's not what the cop did. The cop was just like, as I said before, you can call this number.
yeah. This is the way you do this.
Yeah. You're going to be sued personally. Okay, then. Sure.
Yeah.
Which judge is going to be like, oh, you couldn't bring your speaker on the Hill? Let's sue this guy for all he's worth. Like, just let's get real, people. What do they... I mean, not even, not even like the TV lawyer shows are that ridiculous. So where are they getting this ridiculousness from? They didn't learn it from TV. You know?
Yeah, there's some wonderful. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who've been sort of watching this and who have good understanding of the legal background. You know, first example would be Resistance Cats. And it's absolutely incredible in regards to, like, you know, to have this kind of twisted view of the law. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but you know, there's a couple of things that I'm quite, you know, I will understand in regards to, you can't, you know, if a police officer refuses to accept something because that's what they're ordered, good luck trying to individually sue them for personal whatever your thinking is. Another thing I also learned not too long ago is the idea of how do I put it? The idea of notice of liability isn't a real thing.
It is nothing. I know that. Like from the beginning, when a certain someone kept serving people notices of liability, I'm like, that's a junk piece of paper that any lawyer can write. You pay them $250 or whatever their stupid hourly rate wage is, and it's like, meh, it's nothing. It's absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely right. It's absolutely nothing.
It's just a show.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a threat, but even still, like, yeah, but everybody, the legal in the legal field has been saying in regards to these notice liabilities that especially the anti-vaxxers has been putting out and whatnot, they have no legal backing. So these guys are throwing them out, believing that this is something of importance, and it isn't. And I mean, these guys are going to try to take them to court. I would like to see how far these things go.
They're not.
I know that. I know that. You know that.
Through, let alone
the
court process that's like 3 years long, sometimes 4 years long. Like, none of this is happening for them.
Yeah, it's exactly it. I mean, but you know, this is how they got themselves, you know, their victory.
And wearing the cop's uniform next year, what does that mean? You're in charge now, like, because you're gonna wear his uniform next year. You have some pull or something, like. Those guys were just standing there. They are the messengers. They are the enforcers, if you will. I'm
trying to remember
if they pass a criminal check, anyways, like on it, like the psych check or whatever checks that need to be passed. These guys aren't getting into any type of law enforcement, especially with all the video that is out there that shows how they treat law enforcement. Who's gonna fucking hire you? You like really?
Yeah, well, you did have to go through.
I'll be
probably police foundations and the academy. So I mean, there's a whole listing of reasons as to why they're not gonna. I have no doubt they were not gonna go through. But aside from that, you know, later on they started having some speeches, some presentations. They even had an immigrant fresh to the country make an appearance and decide to show her gratitude to Canada and to the Freedom Convoy movement.
I heard she loves Canada.
I heard she did too. She loves it a lot.
She's very happy to be here in this country.
So happy. So happy.
When she arrived, she barely knew the language.
Oops.
Adia took her love
Good job, Biz. Good job.
Bit of trouble, that's one, I think.
To express how grateful she was.
Oh, I got a lot more
to
there.
live in such a beautiful and welcoming country.
I got a lot more.
Adia blends traditionally belly dancing with.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, I have a bit of problem here. Apologize here. Being a very terrible. Not sure what the video is doing. We'll have to give you a second here. And that was Brian Dirksen.
Yeah, Brian Dirksen. Oh yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a few new people here. So I just wanted to quickly go over that there are regulars, there's like nicknames for them. Wellington Dipshits happens to be the one that has stuck. And so we are very familiar with them, and they are very familiar with us. So Brian Dirksen and I have had some run-ins together a few times. We've spoken together. I've been to his court. I went to his court date where they stayed his charges. Yeah, so they're very familiar with who I am. Are you having trouble, Joe, or is it?
No, I'm about to go. Keep going.
Yeah. No, I don't. You can just interrupt me anytime.
I can interrupt you. I try not to interrupt you anytime. I feel that's just not a cool thing to do. Just do it.
Oh yeah.
She barely knew the language. Nadia took her love.
Good job, Dave. Good job.
From back
Amazing.
home
Yes, thank you.
to express how grateful she was.
Oh, I got a lot more
to
there.
live in such a beautiful and welcoming country.
I got a lot more.
Nadia blends traditionally belly dancing.
Your mom's actually hanging out with Barry Songman and my buddy Dave. We all stay together though. So
Nadia is grateful for moments like this where she can share it all with you. And I believe that she's almost ready. Folks, here she comes without any further ado.
Uh-oh.
Nadia is going to put on a presentation for you.
I still die watching this.
So do I. I am so glad I didn't realize you were here. I don't think I would be able to keep it together.
Such a brave lady. How you doing? Oh, I think it's amazing. Yeah, she's so brave. Like, what a brave soul. So gorgeous. Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. Yeah, God bless her for putting herself there and getting some entertainment people. It's something special. What a cool little thing. Take the stress of the mood down to
Took the stress down for them.
It did.
yeah! Let's go! Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
It was amazing. Windsor Public News on Facebook?
You know, people say the convoy is racist, misogynistic, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, sexist, xenophobic, violent, hateful, groomers, pedophiles, and even terrorists. And after watching this group for over a year, I want you to know that today is a special
on my phone and I don't have a
day.
charger.
It's April 1st, and today marks the day where all of you come together as foes because they're right.
Mic drop.
What the hell?
What the hell?
There you go. There you go. Love you.
Well, there you have it, folks. And you see, now
Wait for it. Wait for it.
invited everybody, no matter what side of the equation that you're on.
Oh no,
Fight for your right to disagree. It's
yeah, you
okay.
missed it, sir. It's sir. She's doing it again. She's doing it again.
It's her. That's the lady.
That's the lady.
That's the lady. It's her.
So somebody asked how we pulled it off, and I. Okay, wait. First, Joe had no idea I was coming.
I had no clue. If I did, I would have been able to actually get some footage of it. I had no idea. And in fact, so before we get to that, I will tell you, I was, at this particular point, I've already moved away and I was back towards the middle of Wellington Road. And I was talking to an officer there because I had to swap out my battery. And I figured it was just the perfect time because somebody was there starting to do a prayer, and they wanted me. They wanted all us to hold hands. I'm like, I do not want to touch anybody that's here.
This little
Ever.
of mine.
There was a whole like weird kumbaya. Let's all touch and be happy. It just not happening. Period. So I'm like hauling ass out there, and so I'm starting to swap batteries and talking to the officer, and I believe somebody else was there. I think Kyle was there, and we were discussing some stuff. And I hear the music in the background. I don't quite hear it clearly because had I heard what the song was, I would have had a bigger attention span for sure.
Hints, like all week or whatever.
Yeah, but they were very, very subtle. I didn't quite pick up on it, but I mean, and if your hint was Milkshake, well, I'm like, and we'll get into Milkshake a little bit after this as to why that song was picked. But I did not hear it, so I had no clue until, and even still not till much later. When I turned around, I saw that somebody was belly dancing, and I look at the officer like, somebody's belly dancing. He's like, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Continuing on. And I didn't hear about it till about at least 10 minutes later when Daisy's coming out all stunned looking. He's like, she got us. Deana got us. I'm like, what are you talking about? Deana just got us. Deana's not fucking here, dude. Are you like, do I need to call somebody for you? Like, what's going on? It's like, no, she's here. She was the belly dancer. I'm like, wait. Oh, that makes sense. That sounds her for sure. So Deana, tell us how this happened.
I always knew that Milkshake would make its way to the convoy at some point. So that's like, I kept telling Joe, if ever you hear Milkshake, you need to find me. But the 2 days before, after I had done that Zoom call in infiltration, I was like, okay, well, I can't just show up. I have to, because they've dealt with me. They know exactly who I am. So I thought I have to disguise or whatever. And I played Milkshake, and then I started belly dancing to Milkshake, and I'm like, that's it. That's exactly what's happening here. And so the next day, I spoke to my friend, Tanya, and I said, listen, Tanya, just wondering if you want to help me out with something. And I told her the plan. She's like, absolutely. And I'm like, really? So I said, you have to go to, I was going to get all dressed up, be in disguise, be somewhere else. She had to go and find Jason LeFace and say, my friend really wants to dance for everybody because he said they want to do different shows. When I listened to his live, that's another sort of hint of what was going to happen. So he's like, yeah, we'll do cultural dances and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cultural dance. So she had to go up to Jason and say, my friend really wants to do this, but she's running late, so that I would just automatically go in when the speeches were going on. And I was even DMing Joe in the morning, like, hey, what's happening down there? He's like, I'm not there yet. And I'm like, damn it, I need eyes down there. Like, I thought we were late. And anyway, so we both got dropped off at, where was that when we ended up at the Iranian March by accident when we drove? Is that the Senate?
Yeah, that'd be the Senate.
So we got dropped off at the Senate, and I went and hid where the was. She walked all the way there, and then she found him. I showed her pictures of everybody because she didn't know anybody, and she ended up finding him. She called me and told me, yeah, they're ready for you. You can do it, blah blah. And we have the recording of how she set it up. She's hilarious. I don't know if you're playing that or not.
I'm not, unfortunately, because I didn't. I'm just realizing that's the content I didn't grab.
She was stellar, and
she was. I'll prepare a video for that later on, though.
I had to sort of be concealed, but also not too concealed, or they'd think something was up. So I actually was able to walk right past the cops, who know exactly what I look like, walk through the crowd, who half of them know what I look like, and I went straight to the back. Where the stairs were, and just kept my back turned to them and started getting ready. And thankfully that stupid song that they sang, they decided to do another round with made up words because I was having a wardrobe malfunction, which really sucked. But we figured that all out. And then when I was done the dance, I kept asking Brian if I could speak and I was trying not to say too much. he's being all, he's like, we really, really want you to dance for the next set, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, can I read this? And he's like, oh, you want me to read this for you? And so he was about to read it, but he only read the top part because I made a little speech thing, and he saw that I was speaking to the crowd. He's like, oh, do you want to read it? And I'm like, yeah. So then he gave the mic. That was it. The rest is good. It's good times.
It is, and I mean, what still kills me to this day was the fact that you went up to goddamn Dirksen. I mean, Dirksen, of the many people, Dirksen should be one that's recognizing you. Does not recognize you. Introduces you.
Yeah.
Talks to you
That's
about
why I was walking like this with my cape on too.
Oh yeah, I don't know, absolutely. I mean, you came in. I totally get why you're doing it.
Right before I went through the circle, I was like at the other end of the circle around, and Dirksen looked right at me, and I'm like, damn it, I think he figured it out, and he totally didn't. Thankfully, when I went to the back. But yeah, Anaid is Deana spelled backwards, and Mike, yes. Tanya made it so real that when he was asking, how do you pronounce Anaid or whatever, she's like, no, Anaid, like, duh.
Dumb white guy. How do you not know how to pronounce her name? Like, yeah, I remember talking to her, and I actually listened to the recording, like, yeah, no. She sold it in the fact, like, how dare you be offensive and not pronounce her name right? She's coming to you guys to show you her soul. Kind of like energy. I'm like, oh my God, like you just delivered it. One question.
I could not have done it without her, because how am I going to like get in there? So total props to Tanya. Also, I put that costume together the day before in like 4 hours. And most of the stuff that I bought was because of the help of the person who's at Audrey Dance and Costume Shop in Ottawa. I had tried Malabars. They sent me to Aren't We Naughty to get a belly dancing outfit that I definitely wouldn't have danced around in. And so I Googled, and I went to Audrey's dance and costume, and it was amazing. She was super helpful. I want to say thank you to her if she's watching. And yeah, those two people made it happen for sure. Amazing.
I mean, one of the first questions, is were you nervous? And I think you answered that one on the spaces, but for us here tonight.
The only thing I was nervous about was getting caught, because then it would have just not, like, it would have fallen flat. So, but dancing in front of everybody and just being like silly and stuff, nah, that's fun.
It's true. And it makes total sense, because so to be nervous to the point of just sort of delivering the entire thing, like up to that point, up till the music started, it was really sort of, it could fail at any point if somebody catches you, somebody recognizes you, but little scantily and little covering, you're good to go.
Down the whole time until like near the end, and I was like, I think I'm safe to look up. So I was like now looking up at everybody, and yeah. Yay.
People were too busy focused on your milkshakes. But
Stacey.
Well, I mean, I will criticize Stacey for as many things as possible, because absolutely there's many things he's wrong. He at least took it in stride in regards to as compared to some of the others. I mean, it was, because let's be honest.
He was pissed.
He was, and so this is the first time people are going to see this. There's a bit of reaction to this conversation with you after the fact, in regards to it. So, a little premiere for everyone.
Yeah.
Really? You guys set us up, really?
I had no fucking clue.
I don't care. Well, I'm just trying to bring us together, man. I'm tired of fighting. Honest to God, like,
Go online.
Did I?
Fight.
Who do I fight with? I don't fight with anybody.
I listened to your
You listen and you assume.
No, I hear.
Okay, so let's have a conversation here. No, because you want to attack and hate.
Well,
I don't like you. That's for damn
Good.
sure.
Well, I don't like you. I don't like the way you hate on people.
You
wanna
hate
keep-
on people. You're
No,
the
I
one-
don't. I
Yeah,
hate
you
on.
do.
I hate on people. I'm trying to bring forth a fact here. You guys are out there. I'm also part of Pride, okay? And our community is fucking divided for people like you.
People like me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do. Aren't we supposed to be about love and
Pride,
inclusivity and stuff?
pride,
No,
pride,
no, right?
and
But
love,
why
and
does
whatever
it give you
doesn't
the right to
exclude people.
dehumanize me
Doesn't
when I'm
exclude
part of the same
people.
community?
Not a lot of love in lies.
There is no lies. What lies are we spreading?
God, I was standing out there for so long, it was so hard not to cringe.
For what? Because we're standing up for your right to vote?
My right to vote is intact.
No, it's not.
Yes,
you
it
just had an
is.
election that was rigged by Chinese.
It wasn't
interference.
rigged.
And if you don't believe it, go fucking read it by the intelligence
Do you
community.
really believe that China's not always trying to get into our fucking business?
Do you think it's right
And
that
Russia.
they in Russia,
And I think I could
everybody?
go
I'm
on
not
and
just
on.
saying it's everybody, but does that give the right to
trying.
them?
And you
Is
know what?
that
My
give them the
husband works for
right
the federal
to
government
impede
in
on our vote?
cybersecurity, and they
Give you the
can't
right to
get
nullify
through.
our vote.
I'm not nullifying
Yeah,
it.
you're trying to.
How am I nullifying it? How am I doing that?
Because you're trying to
How am I doing
overturn
that?
the election.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
you are.
asking for an election so we can all have a free fucking
We will
vote.
have an election.
Really?
In due
so
time.
mad.
I'm gonna tell you
I
something. You know
don't
what?
feel love.
You people need to get your heads in check.
That was fun. Are you watching it?
It's recording.
Oh,
I'm not
hi.
streaming because I'm not streaming.
You set him off again.
Don't mess with Tanya either. Like Tanya.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that was Tanya, and Tanya came out with me on a Friday during the actual convoy, and we stood because I was going in the middle of the square at Bank and Kent, standing in the middle with my Go Home Terra sign and my information, and she came out too, and yeah, so she was able to see, you know, the craziness, you know, what was happening during the convoy as well. And she's very calm. She's super intelligent. Like she's, you know, got a law background, you know, worked for Greenpeace. Like she is, you know, she's very well versed in what is going on in the world. And then this guy comes along and just starts trying to peddle his bullshit. She's not having it. She's just not having it.
Yeah. I mean, so a couple of things, you know, I mean, as I'm just marking Vaccines Baby's message here. Now, he never said he was gay.
He said he was part of Pride.
Yeah. He said he's part of the community.
Whatever that
So,
doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter. I'm more curious.
Does matter because he's saying he's part of Pride, but then he shows up to the OCDSB meeting.
Oh, yeah.
to, what, cancel part of the...
Well, I mean, this is where I'm kind of curious as to. I'm like, all right, fine. You want to say part of the community? All right. In what capacity are you part of the community? I mean, I don't say I'm part of the community because I don't feel I am. I'm an ally to it.
Yeah.
And I will come and defend at any time possibly. But I don't feel I'm part of. You know, I don't feel I'm part of that. And more importantly, I don't feel I could speak for that community because I don't feel I'm a person that's a voice for it. Just, you know, an ally to support it. There's better people that can speak for me on those issues, and that would be those people having those issues. He, on the other hand, I have no idea because we know he hasn't told the truth on anything. He's got three.
He supposedly has 3 degrees, and he is part of the Pride community. Did he say
Indigenous? He also claims indigenous.
Yeah, like he's everything. He's every man. That's what he is.
Yeah, which really, you know, which makes you kind of wonder, like, you know, so, you know, Charlene's kind of, you know, there's many people in Sudbury who've come out to say, well, we know him, and that's not true on a lot of things that he said.
He is a compulsive player.
Yeah, and so it kind of comes down to like, all right, you're saying a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff doesn't add up. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense. And that's just what it is. I mean, he says he's part of Pride. All right, cool. What part? You know, what part is it? And is it anything in regards that would be calling into question any of these things that you are, you know, that you're doing on this particular, you know, because I mean, he says he's part of the community. He says he's part of Pride. He says he's Indigenous, but he's also been associated with the Sons of Odin.
Yes.
Which I'm like, dude, that's not really friendly to any of these communities you say you're part of.
Right.
So, guess get fuck.
Yes, go fuck.
Yes, go fuck. Yes, go fuck indeed. Sorry, I've been talking too much. I haven't been able to prep the next thing. But yeah, no, it's
well, he's such a liar that he
Yes.
has supposed video of people who deflated the tires, the tire gate, and accuses
tire gate. No, don't shoot ahead.
What?
Well, no, because you see, we have a lot of people here who don't understand tire gate. So let me show them tire gate.
Hey, Daisy here. So we were watching dash cam video from an incident that occurred yesterday in a parking lot in downtown Ottawa. Multiple Freedom vehicles were targeted by two individuals. Air was let out of tires and slowly caps were put on a lot of the tires as well. So this is quite an escalation here. This all Freedom vehicles, so all flagged up or marked vehicles here that were targeted. Hey, Daisy here. So I have an update on the tire incident that occurred this last weekend in Ottawa. This individual on the top left here, he was seen in video entering a parking lot in downtown Ottawa and replacing valve stem covers with these ones that cause slow leaks. You can see in the bottom left picture. This individual was identified at the Ottawa Carleton School Board meeting this week. And he was pointed out to police. So police now know who this individual is, hear if there's been any charges or what's going to happen going forward. But we now know who this individual is, and so do police.
Now we have the person's name, the one that has unhooked the air from the tires of people in Ottawa while we were protesting. Okay? So, for the people that think it's all good and all funny and it's all game, let me tell you, now we know where you live, now we know who you are. So, to the police of Ottawa, do your job. If you don't, we will do it for you. We don't care. We're about to make some citizen arrest. Okay? Because if the police are not able to do it, we'll do it our own self. You got 48 hours to arrest this man. If not, we will arrest him our own self.
So, now, last particular one is kind of sounds like a threat. Not too crazy about that particular one. Thoughts?
Well, I don't know. Whoops. Sorry, just one sec. Okay. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are, first of all, these people are ridiculous because this happened. Somebody slow leaked their tires. They called it extreme violence in one other clip. It's not extreme violence. I don't stoop to petty little things like that. I do the big stuff, like troll you in a big way. You'll see what I do. But the fact that they watched this video footage, but still pointed the finger at all of us, like me, you, and Clayton, was ridiculous, and so publicly.
We'll get to that a little bit more in a minute here, but yeah.
Just like, I don't know. I have nothing to say about it other than it was ridiculous.
Well, in this particular one, before we get to when they start focusing a little bit into the other accusation stuff, and again, this one's more of the sort of the end one, but like this one here was more like, all right, now they got an idea of who they think it might be.
Did they actually, get video of the person doing this, or did they just capture video of somebody walking through the parking lot?
No, so I did take a look at the video too. It does look like somebody's doing some stuff there, and it's somebody's dash cam that was there parked. So I don't disagree with what they were saying, because it does look, if you look at it, it does look like somebody's playing around with the tires. Is it them? I don't know. Somebody else. Some people are saying that it's somebody that was there. I think I'm with a few people in the chat. I think it might be Brian Fox because he's.
No, it's Brendan Miller.
You think it's Brendan Miller? I don't know. I'm still on Brian Fox. So Deana's on Brendan Miller. I'm on Brian Fox.
Well, somebody brought that up, and I thought it was hilarious.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's definitely one of those two.
I'm saying that in jest, by the way. I don't need a notice of liability.
We're not in court trying to actually accuse that, so we are doing it for comedy, just to be specific. Just to be safe here. No real Brian Fox is being accused here.
No.
But before we even got to this particular part there, where they now believe this, and it's concerning. Mr. LeFace, Jason, decided to do his own investigation in regards to to who might have been the cause of this. And again, this is the guy who also determined that Deana Sharif, McGill Association, not even professor or student. He never really says. He just you're with McMaster's, and then he's like no, she's with McGill. I still don't understand that association.
He switched back to McMaster at OCDSB, so he's flip flopping.
It's true. It's hard to keep the lie straight.
I go to McCheese University. That's
there we go. I'm sure the mayor will appreciate your and I'm waiting for the mayor now to offer you a scholarship to the McCheese University.
Well, they gave me
an honorary doctorate.
So that works. Yeah, that's
there you go. Absolutely, he will absolutely offer that. I hope. But he flip-flopped between obviously McMaster's and McGill, and as well as associating you to OPS for some reason. So he had this whole story that made no sense, but to him did. Again, 30 seconds doing a Google on your name, we will find more information about you than any of the shit he was saying. But still, does that stop our dear friend La Flat Tire? No, it doesn't.
Sure. That's it. Sure. That's it. Now, the last thing, do you find who broke the car today? Oh, yeah, okay, so the cars today, we got our vehicles vandalized in the public parking lot by Deana and Clayton and their buddies, or these people who have been showing up counter-protesting, and they don't want to have any kind of debate. They just keep yelling at us like they're, I don't know, it's crazy what they're doing. But to sit there and accuse a group of people of being terrorists when you guys are actually the terrorists, by vandalizing our vehicles, like, what are we? 2 years old? You're grown adults, man. So I'm going to give you guys an update on something. Now, we have video evidence of what happened, and we know who did it. So those people will be charged. We spoke to the police, and the police did file a report for us because of the vandalism on our vehicles. And then also the assaults at the schools, okay? That was looked into, and Daisy did file a report, and there is charges being laid for assault. So not only is Deana and Clayton and their little crew facing the music with police this week, they will be getting arrested. I can assure you that. The police have told us that they will be charging them. So next time you do things, you guys, hey, right? Might want to think about if there's a camera recording, just like you do to us. So we had cameras on you, and you didn't even know it. So I'm so happy that we have evidence, right? We have video evidence of the assaults. We have video evidence of you guys vandalizing our vehicles. And finally, we get to shut you down with the law. I never, when I was a kid, I used to hate that. I would never trust the judicial system. I still don't trust cops. But in this time here, we didn't do anything wrong. And
110% right. They never ever can seem to figure out how to pronounce Deana's name.
It's all good.
It's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
It's funny because I say my name at the beginning of every stream.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not even like
there's 2 syllables. Kind of gets a little confusing.
Nah.
That's the DNA part people aren't understanding. One, my love for genetics. Like you know, DNA, and then the fact that my name can spell DNA, but it's hard for them.
They got Anaid right. They can't get Deana right. Qu'est-ce que fuck?
I think I need to have 3 syllables in my name for it to work.
Clearly, but I mean, I'm like, how do you? It makes no sense. Like it just makes.
I don't expect a whole lot.
Like
we weren't even in Ottawa when all this stuff happened, were we, Joe?
No, we weren't. We were not. We were actually. So as much as and we'll even get to more footage of Mr. LeFace later on there, but yeah. So after the entire Saturday event, to which we giggled the whole thing, you know, I rushed home, got my gear sort of stowed and everything copied off, and then prepped and got ready because it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Because for some reason, Deana and I like to do this.
After our spaces, too.
After our spaces, and actually, I think that might have been when I tweeted out the whole, 11:30, let's go to bed. 12:30, we're still fucking liking each other's posts and tweeting and commenting. Like, we're just fucking idiots. So we're off to, we finally, we eventually, get like 2 hours of sleep or something stupid like that because we're idiots. And then we're off on the road. So, I rush out, get on the road. And so we go straight to Montreal. So Sainte Catherine, to be more specific. And I will get my French out every time I say it. So it's Sainte Catherine, south shore of Montreal. So it's on the other side. It's on the south side. A little familiar to me as, I actually, I've been to the South Shore a few times before. And we got there for around 10 o'clock. And as we parked, we're looking around. And even Deana points out, like, oh, look, there's chuds here already. And we're like, oh, Christ. Yeah, we got there early. When we got there, it was, I have to admit, so there was a lot of things that were a little weird. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to skip over that, and I'm going to start getting to that particular point here. So,
we parked at the library, and we got there at a good time because
we did. So I'm going to bring some photos here. I'm going to jump back and forth, and I'm going to be a little bit random in the order. But so this is the library here, as to where the activity was, and this is where it's a little. I found a little bit weird. So now. For Deana and I, this isn't our first rodeo when it comes to a protest. We've done Peterborough, we've done Ottawa, and Deana's done at least 1 or 2 more than I have. Thinking of Brockville. Was it Brockville?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and every single one of those, there was kind of a certain sort of thing we kind of expected. Like, there's the door. Protest at the front, and off it goes. And
also,
then
their message at Brockville or whatever is to try to keep it light and peace and love and just like happiness. That wasn't the feeling at St. Catherine's.
So St. Catherine's, St. Catherine's. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, St. Catherine's is also, So I think one of the it's not so much weird, but it is very, very much different. So if you know the history of Quebec, and you know the history of protest and social issues in Quebec, it's a very different thing. Antifa is a little different there. And also there is a much... Yeah, and absolutely, Quebec is absolutely much more intense and a lot more passionate. That is not even going to lie. That is, I can't even reword that. It is absolutely more intense. It is absolutely more passionate. There's so the defenders, I had to say, were a lot quicker, a lot more. They were definitely working a lot more together. They were. It was great to talk to them. Wonderful people to speak with. And they were quite helpful when they needed to, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
They had eyes everywhere, by the way.
They absolutely had eyes. Yeah.
Like any of the chuds tried to get around or through, there was a group of them automatically that would just, because we were across the street. So you're looking, what we're looking at here is where we are standing, like where Joe is taking the pictures across the street. That's where the protest was. Like we were not anywhere near the library. We were across the street down a road. I don't know if they have a bylaw like Calgary does, where if you're going to be protesting, you have to be far away, but that's what the understanding and the agreement was.
So here is on the other street, and this is not even the other street, as in like we're across the street from the place. We are, but we're actually on a side street across the street from the place. It was very, very strange. And that's what I thought was kind of bizarre in regards to setup. I don't know if you thought the same way, Deana, as I did. But
yeah, I mean, it was interesting, and I actually appreciated it because, I mean, if what happened there was happening right in front of the library, I don't think it would have been a good thing, you know? So it was good that everybody, you know, took their protests or defense or whatever, and we were away from the library. So there must have been a rule that you couldn't do that there.
It did get across the street, and there's a little. So this is one of the last pictures I took, and before I had my accident, which we'll discuss after. But this gives you a large size of number, and there's so this is the second thing I kind of, aside from the setup and configuration, the second thing that kind of disturbed me a little bit was the sheer number of protesters. Was a vast difference than what I expected. There were a lot more.
It was like a church, yeah. But apparently they, according to one of the defenders, they had been doing this and have been unchallenged. And I think this was the first time that they organized defenders. This is what I was told. So I'm going to.
It is. I did get a little bit more conversation in regards to that. So I got some more information to that. So I did talk to a couple of people from the Montreal, some of the organizers. So two of the things. So the drag queen in question did not want any defenders at all. And so there's a bit of a disagreement between the drag queen, which is Barbada, I think was her name, and the movement in Montreal. So Pink Montreal is one of the groups that does a lot of the organizing, and they were the ones that sent out the call for help, as well as Antifa Montreal. They were also coming in there for help and assisting into the entire group. And it's kind of a disagreeing views where the drag queen Barbad, she didn't want anybody there because she wanted to keep it peaceful, and she viewed it as like, if there's nobody there, it's gonna be peaceful. But Pink Montreal and Antifa Montreal were on the view, and I don't disagree with them on this one. It's like, we cannot ignore this because this is growing not only in the States, it's growing everywhere, and it's just going to get larger and louder. And if we keep this unchallenged, they're going to win. And let's be honest, we've all seen this occur in regards to wins. We've seen drag story times being canceled in areas. Calgary, Alberta can definitely be there. If Mike Petch is here, he can probably give us a couple of stories, off the top of his head. As well as, places in the States, even in a couple of places in Canada. I believe there might have been one or two in Ontario that were also canceled too. So absolutely, if these things continue to go unchallenged, they will grow where they cause fear. So it was, so I do not disagree. Their design, and I'm okay with the idea of let's continue challenging it. Let's keep it a little quiet, a little peaceful. But again, this is where I wasn't quite as familiar with Montreal. Being a Frenchman from Montreal, I should have been, but no.
Yeah, well, it's a big place. So
it is
anyway,
a big place.
We show up there, and they of course they were having fun. They were playing music, and there's the Francois Amalego is a priest or pastor or something like that who usually does his sermons or whatever he does to talk about whatever the blasphemy or whatever BS he wants to spew.
That would be him.
And hate.
Yeah.
And every time he tried to speak, we drowned him out. And so he would stop, and he just felt so hopeless about it that he couldn't, spew his hatred. And he even at one point went up and talked to the police as if the police were going to help him. And Camilla noticed something. I don't know what clips you're planning on playing. Are you playing any clips?
I'm not going to be playing any clips.
Okay.
I wasn't able to prepare any of the clips.
That's fine. So there's a clip that I'll post myself, but we're dancing or whatever, and Camilla is having a great time and stuff, and of course I'm pissing them off completely. And Camilla says, "Look how old they are over there, and look how young they are over here." And it was such an amazing observation. And so I told her, absolutely, Camilla, because it's the young people, the Gen Z and the millennials are all, the millennials especially are aging into the system. They are the ones who are going to be voting. They are the ones who are going to change the world because they have the voting majority, and they don't want to live the way that these people here are stuck trying to live. So these guys have to figure it out, get over it, because it's their world now. These are the people who are going to be living in this world. And I think that's why, and I mentioned this in a tweet or whatever, but this is why there's this massive push for this propaganda, is because the establishment recognizes that there will be a shift in every next election, because young people aren't having this bullshit. So the propaganda machine is running hard. It's not working, but we still need to keep coming out. Like, I see it failing, and I think it's failing.
So you're absolutely right. Now, in Quebec, there's also a little bit of a different layer too. And this is something I was discussing with some family because, again, we're from Quebec. There's also... it's also very pronounced, and it's also very similar to even the rest of the provinces. Rural Quebec has a very strong and distinct, not distinct, but very strong racist and bigotry. No different than what we've seen in other provinces, and it's very strong there.
Call that though.
Absolutely.
Call them that, and then you end up with like.
No, je suis pas raciste. No, I'm not racist. I just don't like things that are different than me.
Right.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you have any questions about the racism thing, well, let's take a look at the whole what should I call it? The religious symbols ban that was in Quebec.
Yeah.
So yeah. Exactly. So I mean, there's a whole slew of things there. So there's definitely a comfort with the racism there, and absolutely, and this is kind of a very
call the province racist. We said that a lot of the people there are.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm not going to call the province racist. There's when it comes to it's
huge racism problem, a huge xenophobia problem, and definitely a huge.
And the racism is a little bit less racism and a little bit more xenophobia is what I'd say. And again, there's also a difference there
and
too.
And the language. I can
absolutely.
Speak. Moi, je peux parler en français, c'est pas un problème.
Yeah.
Je comprends bien, je peux parler bien, but they hate when you speak English there, so that's why all my taunts were in English.
Oh, absolutely. It is, and it's a bit of a challenge. So it's a bit of a difficulty with them in regards to that. So it's also one of the things, if you checked with a lot of people that were joining us and following us, the younger guys, the younger guys and gals, and everybody else. A lot of them came from Montreal, which is just right there on the other side. So Montreal has always been known as sort of like the urban center that's been a lot more tolerant, a lot more. Right. It's urban. It's metro. It's urban. It's the same thing with any other place. You know, you get an urban area. It's very much more left, a lot more diverse. You know, people are diverse. People start talking to each other. They start realizing, you know what, you're not a scary person because you're different, as opposed to rural where they may not be associating as much. So it's, you know, and it is still a good thing that these people are young right now. So hopefully that they can send that message out to the rural areas. Oh, maybe Tech Talk's going to help.
Yeah. So after that, I have received many, many, many messages from the
in French
in Quebec DMs. It's hilarious on my Twitter and on my Facebook. And it's funny because I didn't really get any of those messages like from from Ontario or whatever.
Yeah.
But the Quebecers, as you say, are much more intense and much more passionate. I see my people keep sending me, oh, they're going hardcore on wanting to call Children's Aid Society on me, which I think is hilarious because people are sending me these clips and I can't wait to make a TikTok out of it. If you guys find any comments where they've actually admitted that they called Children's Aid Society and Children's Aid Society doesn't give a flying fuck about the fact that my daughter comes with me to protests. I mean, boop.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was definitely the people that were caused that. This one too apparently was got quite upset about with you. I remember this, and you guys had a megaphone battle.
Yeah,
like
hated me. There's a couple of them that hated me.
Yeah, you make so many friends.
Listen, I don't make friends with bigots, and my job is to piss them off. There's that saying: when they go low, you go high. Well, when they go low, I just
pulverize them into the ground. I get it. So this one was a little bit more intense, and this is one of the other things I wanted to show was there was arrests in this one, and it's a rare thing. I mean, we at the NDC we did see them
full on fights. Like as I was leaving to take Camilla to the bathroom, way in the parking lot, there was like one hardcore, and I think I caught on my video the guys who were crossing over to get in the fight with them.
Oh yeah.
That's in my live because
I've got a couple of those videos, and I'm kind of nervous about trying to release any of those because
I didn't film the actual fight. What I filmed was them running across the street as we were trying to go, and then I look and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So now to give a little background in regards to the people who were arrested, they were, and this is I was able to talk to, again, being the person I am, I talked to a couple of the organizers. They were able to confirm that these guys are actual, like, this is not just convites that these guys were arrested. These guys were actual hardcore neo-Nazis. They were associated with a couple of groups from like things like Canada First to La Mouette to like other extreme groups within Montreal. And this is an actual, threat within their group. Like, this is just intense. So I was kind of surprised.
People that will actually kill.
Yeah.
Trans people, drag queens, who you name it, even people who are gay, lesbian.
Absolutely,
are absolute trash.
Yeah, these people are. Yeah, absolutely, and it was interesting to watch. Like, these guys, these ones are. They're not looking for a conversation. They're looking at to come with a fight, and Montreal was ready for them.
Love in this battle here, people. You
don't
like
and it was
attitude? Well, I don't like their attitude, wanting to kill people. Like,
yeah, and so these guys had, and so it was, it does definitely underline there's definitely more passion there, and it's kind of an interesting contrast after watching this and coming back to Ottawa after that. Like, oh, these guys are being extremely violent with the deflated tires, and I'm sitting there after Montreal. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
and in the meanwhile, we're watching people actually get Yeah, like if
Yeah, like there's like an ass kicking. Now,
Casey and them couldn't fucking survive in Quebec. Not a chance.
no.
One of those rallies, they Daisy like, oh, you touched my flag. Can I get my flag back? Like, no, Daisy, your head's gonna be like, they're gonna mistake you too. Like, you're just such a, I don't know, what a.
Yeah. So there was one other before we move on to getting back to Ottawa. As I mentioned, this was the last photo I took before I had to stop. And for those who weren't aware as to why I had to stop, no violent incident in regards to anything occurred to me except my own stupidity as I tried to come down off a hill, to which I decided to smack my hand open on some concrete, and while holding my phone, so I scraped up my wrist, scraped up my hand, and my phone decided to take a nice little face plant right into the concrete and completely smash the bottom of it. It was unusable. The interface did not respond. It was just a blinking mess.
Yeah.
So that was my own dumbass fault. I will admit it was me.
Joe beat himself up.
I beat myself up. It was quite nasty. I will admit, so if you guys ever take a look at cell phones and they offer you an extended warranty with Assuron, covers for drops, I recommend taking it. This is my phone, now nice and clean, fixed and working perfectly. Because I got the extended warranty, all I had to do is pay $40, and they were able to fix it within less than an hour.
Oh,
that.
We need to send a notice of liability to the hill or to Gravity. Notice.
It's going to be. As I've told people, I put a lot of blood, sweat into my activism now, and I've really got the scars to show it.
For real.
I am going to send a notice of liability to the small snow hill in St. Catherine, as well as to the hard parking lot that's there that took the impact of my hand and took out my phone. And owie, indeed, Gravity sucks. And
yeah,
it was, and the worst part. So Give and go, that for sure. I will say that what was the final point of this one is I remember getting to Montreal when we were there, and Dean and I were talking as we were walking up, and because we came across some other people, and they welcomed us. And as we were walking up, and one of the guys on the back, he had this like medic symbol. Little I know, I was going to talk to him some more later. And all I thought to myself, like, yeah, I wanted to get medic pack from my bag too, just in case people need to get injured and whatnot. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. These guys are really prepared for things. They got medics and whatnot. Sure enough, I got to see that in action, because that's the guy you see later bandaging up my hand. He did a fantastic job. He was good. He was there, took care of everything else. Police actually came by. It's like, hey, I just want to see what incident. I'm like, listen, the only person that's guilty of pushing me down the hill was myself, because I'm an idiot. Mm-hmm. He's like, all right, we just want to know it wasn't anything. I'm like, no, it was just stupidity. 100% me. And you can cuff me for that one, but it's a dumb charge.
So we get home, and I was so tired. I went to bed because we had to get ready for Tuesday, which was the OCDSB.
Remember, we got tired, so we went to bed, which meant, another couple hours of fucking Twitter and tweets and this and that.
Because it was on fire. Like, people were like, oh my God, Dana made me mad. And I was like, meh.
There was. I mean, there was a fair amount of stuff, because, we got Montreal that was responding back to us. We had a fair amount of activity. So, and again, we were still trying to get things, to get things ready for Tuesday. So, one of the things before we even get to Tuesday, I believe, was, as we're still monitoring Jason LeFace and things as we're coming up, we even noticed little things like, he's doing his live streams, and as Deana is discovering, the previous one where she's being accused of that, she's decided to go jump into a stream and still be the troll that she is.
So then
Sorry?
I had to use he kicked me out, so I had to use my other he blocked me.
Yeah.
With my
Did he
first
block your second one too?
I don't know, but I went in with my second one. I don't think he saw that I was making comments, but I kept snapshotting my comments.
You are a terrible, terrible person. We love you for it. So we finally get to the OCDSB, and again, there's some video footage I wasn't able to prepare quite as much as I wanted to. Also, but I'm going to see if I can bring a couple of things that we did want to bring up here. And where did I put it? Oh yeah. So one of the things is continuation of our dear friend LeFace.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know what? You're irrelevant.
That's such good research.
You're irrelevant.
I'm McMaster. I'm with McGill. Right? You know
And
so
look
much
at you.
about me.
You're with McMaster.
I haven't
McGill.
seen
Look at
such
the
a
way
fine
you're acting.
example of
I don't know.
ignorance and word salads in my life. Except from that man right there. Probably
you know
from
what
the
your
pulpit.
friends did? That guy right there.
Oh,
Me?
He did. Oh, we got that on. I love it. Jason, you're such a...
I do love the ending. It was like, Jason, you're such a fucking loser.
I'm just a fucking idiot. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, as if he did that. As if he full blown. Like, people told him in his chat that we were in St. Catherine and we were all over his cousins from Quebec's feeds, if we want to call
Well,
them.
you're back in you're back in your home ground of Montreal. Being the McGill girl you are.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's why I was in Montreal, because I was visiting my alumni, whatever. No. Thank you for thinking that I went to McGill and McMaster. It's awesome.
It's absolutely phenomenal. It's not even that we were hiding that. I mean, 5 seconds of looking either on your feed, looking at my feed,
or just
were
looking
quite
in your
blunt.
comment feed, just your own damn comment feed, where your people are telling you that we were not even in Ottawa at the time. But whatever, it's too hard. Again, it's complicated. Like the word Deana is hard. It's just hard. Words are hard.
It absolutely is. I mean, it's again, I still don't understand why your name is so fucking complicated for them. But then again, I mean,
that Christine Cameron even corrected them, saying, but nobody listens to Christine, so it doesn't matter. She just talks a lot. She says a lot of shit. So that's why it was missed.
That's quite possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So the other one here was this is another one that I captured, and this is, you know what? Let's watch it, then you can talk about this one a little bit. So we're highlighting Richard Longjoy.
Maybe you guys should, because I pay taxes to this school. He doesn't. So you mind your business. I don't give a shit.
Peace, love, and light. Go screw yourself. Meanwhile, that loser is trying to take a picture of my daughter, and my daughter's just like, no, not having it. She turns right around. Like, what an idiot. And I was turned around at the time. You don't really see it because it was darked out, but as it's when I turned around to look at the people I was speaking to that he went and pulled that crap. Like, he's such an idiot. What an idiot.
And I'm not even sure exactly why he's...
Because they are obsessed with taking a picture of my daughter to try to prove that what a terrible person I am for bringing my daughter to these protests. Get over it, folks. I have, and I can't, hopefully it happens this weekend, but I have this beautiful picture of Egypt's revolution. The revolution in Egypt was massive back in 2010. And there's a picture of a dad carrying his daughter, who is probably the same age as Camilla, on his shoulders. That protest, although it was mainly peaceful with the amount of people that were there, there were thugs that were kicking the crap out of people. People were saying words that, you know, you wouldn't think are appropriate for a child, even though it's all over our TV and all over our music and all over their flags. We have to have this conversation every freaking time. You know, like my 8-year-old daughter can read your flags, and you guys swear all the time. Like, it's not, I don't even, like, I have to belabor this or what? Like, why do we have to keep talking about this? But it's funny. They can be angry. I think it triggers them so hard. They try to say that Camilla is confused or doesn't want to be there. Wrong-o. Like, Camilla wanted to go where Joe was when we were in St. Catharines, but Joe was where the possible violence was, like where those things kept happening. And I'm like, nope, we're gonna stand right here. Like, there's a line of cops right here. I'm not gonna put my daughter in immediate danger. There are, you know, I have a visual of what's going on. I have a family plan. Okay, we have a family plan. We're not stupid. And yeah, it's hilarious. So, I mean, keep getting pissed off and keep making judgments about my daughter. My daughter is an extremely well-adjusted, extremely intelligent, like she pointed out when at the OCDSB meeting, after there were 3 incidents with I think the same defender that just stood there, feet planted. And first, Daisy is leaning up against the defender, and I got a good shot of that. I'm like, what are you doing? You're leaning up against this defender. And this is right after Douglas, the old man who pretended that, well, I mean, he ended up getting pushed at the first meeting, but that's because he tried to walk through the defender. Of course, that's not captured on the video that they put out. No, it wouldn't be. Well, I mean, it was. I could see it. But he tries to do it again at the second time. He literally crosses the sidewalk, comes over to the side of the defenders, and starts pushing his way in. And so, yeah, like, I'm chirping. I'm calling the cop over because they had 0 tolerance for that this time. So it's like, hey, what's happening here? Is this cool? You know, whatever. Trying to pull that bullshit again. Then Daisy does it to the defender. And then William O'Bray tries to be all, like, up in his face, or her face, or their face, whoever, in their face. And Camilla's like, what's going on over there, Mom? Like, what is even happening there? I think that's how she put it, because she's like, And yeah, like, she's pointing out the stuff that shouldn't be happening. And this is not coming from the defender side. We were all on the side we were supposed to be on, and they were coming up. And you see it in every single one of their feeds and our feeds. So if anybody wants to try to twist that story and change that narrative, I call bullshit. Okay? We were on 2 separate sides. Why all of a sudden is there altercations when you guys are on our side? Like, give me a break. All of it. Give me a break.
So, I mean, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it was kind of weird. It was kind of, they always do a little bit creepy. This is,
And they're worried about my child, but they're the ones who are starting this bullshit in front of
this is
child, right?
Exactly. And this is why, yeah, exactly. I mean, and back to the whole child thing in protests. I mean, first of all, you're the parent, and I think you're going to be making your judgment for a child as much as, best decisions as possible. And I have no say in there whatsoever. But I don't disagree with it either, because I mean, you're talking about, like, there were protests in Egypt. I mean, hell, there was protests. Yeah.
For people, she's not around any flammable, object. She's not smelling diesel, 24 hours a day. I'm not building a snowbank cradle and plopping her in there so she could fall asleep at 3 months. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you were talking about, you were talking about the Egyptian, protests. I was thinking the Iranian protests, and those guys got even more insane.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, no, there's there's certain realities to it could be, in certain ways, my upbringing myself too. Like, there is certain realities that, kids are going to be learning, and protecting doesn't always help.
I want people to look up Lilia G. Rodriguez Mangual, sorry, from Puerto Rico. She is
And Deana will tweet that name out again later on.
I'll actually tweet her if I get her like profile or whatever. But I was on a call or whatever, like a Zoom thing, and she was out protesting with her parents at around the same age. And you know what happens in Puerto Rico, right? They have to fight for everything. People still don't even realize that they're part of the United States. The Americans still don't realize they're part of the United States, for frick's sake. And she is like one of the best activists right now as we speak. So this is what they're really worried about. I think that's what they're really worried about, is the fact that Camilla sees through their BS. She totally calls through their BS every single time. I don't know. I think she's going to be a powerhouse when she grows up. She's smart, she's witty, and she doesn't get by bullshit.
She comes from Deana.
She comes from Deana. She's been like that since in utero. Like, she's just been very fierce.
Oh, absolutely. So
anyway.
So I mean, there's nothing there. But I mean, coming back now to Ottawa after the OCDSB, I don't think it's gonna be another OCDSB meeting for a while. We're going to get a little bit more drag stories. Not this month. Sorry, go ahead.
Before we leave the OCDSB meeting, there were a couple of things that happened. We had I call her the loser ex-nurse, as everybody.
Yes, I did not get a clip ready for her.
Okay. It's all over the internet, right? They put that out there thinking that was going to like harm me. I 100% say what I feel. She's a loser ex-nurse. She was spreading misinformation and disinformation about the vaccine. And while we were there, she was spreading misinformation and disinformation about trans care. She didn't even know, like there was a person who was yelling at her while I was doing my chant and making very good points. She didn't even know what precocious puberty was, and the fact that children actually do get puberty blockers when that happens. But the point that I want to make is one of the things that she said was, like, her argument was, and many of their arguments, like, were, some of the other people that were there, that children can't consent to gender affirming care. Well, last time I checked, the OCDSB, the Ottawa Carleton District School Board, doesn't have any say in that area. They're focused on the education. They're not focused on whatever trans care is going on between the child, the parents, and the medical staff. So you coming to a school board meeting to complain about the age of consent for trans affirming care is utter bullshit. You don't belong there. That is not why we are there. Stay focused, people. Like, you're just showing your absolute bigotry. That's the only reason why you guys are there, is to be bigots and to show everybody. And then you try to say, no, we don't have a problem with trans people. Are you kidding me? The messages that I got in the last 3 days is all disgusting bigotry. This is not just a simple disagreement about, age of consent or whatever, because the more they talk, the further it goes into this, oh, these people have mental disabilities. Oh, it's a malformation of whatever. Oh, it's a this, it's a that. Just get a frickin' life. Like, you sound exactly like people, how they dealt with people with disability. I wrote down some really quick stats. I just want to say, because there was that good video that I put on. So it's 2%, and this is, damn it, I can't remember what the word is. It's DSD. It used to be called intersex, but they don't like to use that word anymore. I'll find the real term and I'll post it. But it's 2% of people who do not have just a simple X chromosomes. 2%. That means 2 in every 100 people. So Canada has 38,250,000 people in 2021. That was the census numbers. 2% of that is 765,000 people. 765, that's a whole city. And you want to push those people aside or oppress those people. If you want to look at it in a different way, the Inuit population in Canada is 70,540 people. So that's only 10% of what our intersex, the wrong word, I apologize, community is. Métis is 624,220. 624,220. So you can put those two numbers together and you've got close to 2%. So the people who purport that they're supporting the minority groups such as Inuit and Métis, but you're okay for that same number of people to just push them aside because you think that they're a malformation or you think that they have a mental disability. It's absolute ridiculous. It's bigotry and it needs to stop. Like, it's disgusting. That is all. I just wanted to put a couple of stats out, and then I will be posting it. Probably not tonight, or maybe tonight.
No, that's not a problem. And as for the nurse in question there, do you have a quick clip in regards to her and your...
Oh, she's terrible.
I just decided not to play the audio because...
Okay.
It's not worth it. She's terrible. She's a loser ex-nurse. Don't hold back, Deana.
Oh. And actually, the person that was arguing with her made a super good point. You are a horrible person because you are misinforming medically illiterate people. Like, she's using her knowledge. I don't think she did well in her training if she's that, stupid in the rest of the stuff. If you don't know what precocious puberty is, what is your training exactly? How did you not learn that? You learned that in grade 12 biology. So why don't you know this?
I didn't take it, but I'm also not saying I'm an expert in regards to it. I'm always learning, and I'm okay to admit that. But
helps that I'm a woman. But anyway.
Oh, absolutely, and that's absolutely fine. I mean, I didn't go in much into biology, and I will admit I'm not knowledgeable in biology because that's not my forte. If you don't know what my forte is, then...
Math and sciences were my favorite.
Same for me too, just not biology. I went more physics and chemistry. That made more sense to me.
Well, yep, it does.
Yeah, it is. Physics is just math, and chemistry is straightforward. Biology, I just had no interest in it. So... leaving the OCDSB, and now we're going back to national shutdown because you know what? During this entire time, national shutdown was still shutting down the country. And we're watching. We're not sure which country yet. Thank you. We're not sure which country yet, but as it's been progressing, and it's we kind of said let's just leave them to do their thing there. They'll go through it and do what they are. They're starting to come together and they're starting to realize this isn't working out the way they'd hoped. And so we're starting to get a little bit of messaging in regards to it. Now, this is a collection of videos I grabbed from a couple of people. I believe in particular, not a convite and Mayor McCheese again. Thank you. But again, you'll see what I mean by this.
Very disappointing yesterday. I thought this was our... very disappointing yesterday. I thought this was our line. I thought, whatever. clearly nobody really wants to do anything. Like, it's great to see people with like-minded ideas and shit, but yeah, I'm done with it. Nobody really wants to fight. They just want to meet up with like-minded people, wave flags, dream about making change, but not fucking make change. It's bullshit. Hope you all have a good day. I'll be heading home soon. 5.5 hour drive. Waste of money and time. Thought this was a call to action. I thought this was a fucking draw a line in the sand type fucking
Our numbers are garbage. It's embarrassing. I've been holding the line since January 29th, and it's so embarrassing. Like, Jason thought there was going to be a lot of people here this weekend. There was nobody here this weekend. It was an embarrassment. I'm embarrassed as a Wellington Street regular, as all these freaking clowns, and I'm sorry. Like, nobody was here this weekend. It was hardly like it's embarrassing. Like, I'm embarrassment to be, like, seriously, it's an embarrassment that we're calling ourselves freedom fighters. And what are we fighting for?
I don't know.
I don't have gas money. I can't afford it. Everybody's making excuses. And everyone's laughing at us. But you get your ass here. Quit bitching at us and moaning, oh, nobody goes to Ottawa, nobody goes. You know why they don't go to fucking Ottawa? It's because they're lazy. We can't be an embarrassment. We're a joke. We're making the rest of the world looking. We're a laughing stock of the rest of the world because nobody in Canada wants to stand up. I mean, I'm on the hill almost every day except though that school board today didn't go to the hill. But I'll be at the hill tomorrow. But it's embarrassment. It's a joke. We're a laughing stock.
Up north next week for a couple days to hit up the Northern Ontario lumber producers and farmers. I have appointments already set up.
So wasn't able to properly highlight that very last video there, but the last video was our dear friend Mr. LeFace, La Flat Tire. That's all I'm calling him now. Pretty much saying he is now going to be focusing. Yeah. The farewell. Oh, the farewell. That's going to, yeah, that one's going to be good. So we should clip that one for sure. That he's now going to be going out to go talk to the farmers and to steelworkers, other people to try to get more people. So he's going to have to go out. So next week, him and his team are going to be going out to go talk to people, and they're going to try to come back the week after. I'm sorry, but it really feels like an Irish exit.
Oh, just get out and just go home and do something productive with your life. Honestly, just leave. He's going to go talk
That'd
to the
be a first.
instead, right? That's what he's going to go do. Try to get because he's well connected. So he's going to go try to get the farmers to leave their, this is the time that they need to start prepping their crops and stuff like that. It's not, I'm not a farmer, but I feel like I'm going to be prepping my garden everything this weekend.
Yeah.
I know you're, whatever, but is that not don't they have work to do? Like,
I this is me saying, yeah, I believe you're right. Like there's, I mean, anything that anything like what that's kind of a project like that. And I'm going to sort of term the thing like growing a crop is a project. You're going to have prep work. You're going to need to do whatever it is that you need to do before your season starts. Then your season starts. Get that stuff in the ground, get everything ready, process it, get it all going. Absolutely. I mean, these guys, they do have some downtime. It won't be for very long. And it's going to be right into the dead of winter when they can't really do anything with the ground.
Well,
but right now, they need to be getting everything ready. Like, foresters are busy too. Foresters are going to be very busy this weekend alone in Eastern Ontario and Western Quebec from just the storm stuff alone. The reason why a lot of these people aren't coming out there is because a lot of them have jobs to go, make money. I mean, Christ, was it our one of the famous convicts, Barry Thongman, had to run back to Barrie to go make money. It's
he spent too much on postcards with his naked mushroom whatever. I can't believe somebody zoomed in on that and saw that and then made me look at that. I'm forever changed.
Hey, I had to take pictures of him. Just remember that. Anybody ever doubts the work I do for you guys? Remember, I had to photograph some of that crazy shit. All I'm gonna say.
Broken.
That's what, and that's exactly what I was saying. Like, the reason why my phone broke wasn't because I smashed it. It committed suicide and jumped it. Yeah. After seeing that shit, it was like, that's it. I'm out.
Hilarious.
Anyway. It makes total sense. But yeah, so I mean, I'm wondering if this is going to really start to kill the movement now.
I mean, how many more organizers are left in this movement? Because I feel like they've all taken their turn. They've tried to, because I feel like they all think that they're better than the other. Like there's a lot of ego involved in this. They feel like that they've learned from the other person's, like, like LeFace was just like, oh, we've learned from the last time. We made a lot of mistakes. This is how we're going to end up doing it, and it's going to whatever. And now he's coming up with the excuses why he didn't get the support from First Nations. Was that who was supposed to come? First Nations chiefs.
Yeah.
Trying to say it's because somebody had a swastika flag. Like, I think they were looking for an excuse to not be part of your, whatever that was.
Absolutely. I mean, at the beginning, he had the big promise that he's going to have Chris Sky come up and speak. But I've heard from the things I've heard around that he never even asked Chris Sky to even come up. So.
Yeah, maybe he's just a liar. I mean, he does lie a lot. So, I mean, we should just take his words with a grain of salt. Like, it's just.
Oh, honey, it's the whole shaker at this point.
Yeah.
it's so. I mean,
I'm over LeFace. He's going to be leaving, and hopefully, he just doesn't come back.
Yeah. So I mean, but it's so less about LeFace in regards to this one, but more in regards to. Are we starting to see some of the convites finally sort of like, you know what? I'm going to move on from that. I'm not saying they're going to be completely disappearing on us. They're like, we know they're going to be showing up in regards to like, trans issues and drag shows. But the silliness of the whole showing up Parliament Hill, trying to do these whole rally things. Are we going to starting to see an ending of these? Like, do you think that might be in the near future?
Yeah, and I also think that we're going to tire them out with the trans issue and the drag story time issue. So, I mean, they keep saying that we're being distracted and this is like a culture war because of Justin Trudeau or whoever, which drives me freaking bonkers because none of us would go to these things if you guys didn't show up with your hate in the first place. That's why we're called defenders. The defenders they're not there first. The offenders, the offense is the one who pushes this. And so you have to be there to confront it. It's not us saying, hey, we're going to be here and then they come. Like, it's just so bizarre that they're just so bizarre. They're a victim of everything, and it's not their fault that any of this stuff is happening. They are fully participating in this culture war. They are initiating culture war.
Absolutely agreed. It is exactly, they are there, and it's if they weren't there, we wouldn't be showing up, and I'd have to go find another hobby, or find a different way to be an activist. I probably would.
There's lots coming up. Like there are real protests that are going to be happening that I know they will get behind. I hope they don't try to take credit for it because it'll have nothing to do with them. But I'm very aware of some protests that are coming up that are being organized. And I don't know, did you pull any of that video, or maybe we can talk about it next week? Maybe we can
talk about it next week. Yeah.
I'd like to get in touch with the people who are sort of organizing it before we announce anything. In case, I mean, they do want people out, but definitely we're here to support them because we're not part of whatever it is. So it's going to be on their terms, and so we'll hear what they have to say, and then we'll report back to everybody. And I definitely know it's stuff that everybody will want to get behind. Here is going to be a push for change, for real change.
Yeah.
And not in the convoy conspiracy type of way. It's actual things that are happening, and we're dealing with the problems at the root of the problem.
So it's going to be, you know, things from like local issues to provincial and to federal, but it's still actual issues, you know, and stuff to, you know, actual civic issues.
Yeah.
So in regards to looking at the calendar right now, there's not much in April in regards to particular actions we're looking at. But again, that's going to change. So I personally am kind of happy, and I think I speak for Deana in regards to we get a weekend off. Because goddamn, I wouldn't mind sleeping in a little bit. I haven't had that in a while.
Camilla's gone for the weekend, so that's why you guys saw me like cheat and have a cigarette in my house. I don't usually smoke in my house, but I have the house to myself, so I decided I'd have a cigarette.
Exactly. She's like the kid when the parents are out of town. So we're gonna have a little bit quiet. I may do some recording tomorrow by going downtown, still depending on LeFace if he goes to his church and what's going to happen there.
And I promise I'm not going.
Yeah. It's more, yeah, and I mean, trolling them was one thing, but at this point, it's very much.
I don't care about any of it.
The fire seems almost out. Let's just let it go.
Yeah.
And Deana can sing you a few bars quite well of "Let It Go." She did for us in Montreal. So we'll let that, we'll let it go. There is some other ideas I'm also thinking of for the weekend, but I'm not too sure if I want to do those yet or not. Aside from that, as I die here, that's pretty much it. We do have our little closing video for that, but in the interim, we are going to be still doing our space tomorrow night, so come join us. This is your 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
It'll be your opportunity to speak up to us and let us know what you guys want to talk about, because we talk all the time. It's your turn to talk. And aside from that, that's it. Thanks for coming out.
If we don't see you tomorrow, happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, or happy long weekend if you don't.
See you guys tomorrow. Thanks.
You animal, you! Go back to the farm, you animal! They're looking for you at the sanctuary! You filthy animal! You QAnon lunatic! Hit her with the space lasers! Blast her with the fucking space lasers! Get the fuck out of New York, you racist! Sick, filthy,